Luke chapter 4, verse 18. I will show you a very powerful scripture now. We might not have looked at it before. You might not have seen it before. We might have read it, but very powerful scripture. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Why? Because He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and the recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, and to preach the acceptable way of God. When it comes to healing, we heal people. We bring the healing power of God to people. When it comes to deliverance, we demonstrate His power to set the captives free. But when it comes to poverty, we preach the gospel to the poor. Preaching the gospel is the only way for the poor to leave poverty. Oh, Matthew 11. Show us scripture. Matthew 11. When John sent his disciples to go and check out on Jesus, are you the one who should come or should somebody else? He said, verse 3, and he said unto them, oh no, let's go to verse 4. Jesus answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. What are the things? The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, and to the poor have the gospel been preached. Preaching of the gospel to the poor is the only way to get his poverty to go. We may cast out demons, you don't cast out poverty. So those who are not ready to hear the gospel cannot be liberated from this thing called poverty. Preaching, you don't give money to the poor to get him out of poverty. You don't. Jesus came here, but scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the truth is established. Jesus, the truth. Jesus, God. Jesus, the way, said, the only way I can help the poor is that I preach the gospel to them. So if you are not ready to hear the gospel, then you cannot be helped as a poor person. So the poverty of the poor is because he is not hearing the gospel. That heals poverty. And because faith comes by hearing. Until you hear the gospel that eradicates poverty, the faith that will lift you out of poverty will not come. So remain poor. The Lazarus that was at the rich man's front of house. That man, Lazarus. He never heard any man preach prosperity to him. So he didn't have the faith. So I would say he sat at a rich man's gate, desiring. His desire was because of what he knows. And what he knows is out of the boundaries of prosperity. Because nobody told him you can prosper as a saint. Nobody told him. So the only way to get the poor out of his poverty is to preach to him. Pastor, what do you mean? Don't you give him money? No, it's not in the Bible. You don't give money to the poor to set him free from poverty. You want to make him more poor. Because what makes a man to leave poverty is covenant details. And the details of the covenant can only come to a man who knows about it. So the first And the foremost thing to do to eradicate poverty in the life of a believer is to preach the gospel. Number 3 scripture, the book of Job. I'm just trying to prepare us because they are coming to preach to us. So that when the preaching comes, you will not be found wanting. Job 22, the verse 21. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace, thereby good shall come unto thee. He said, receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his word in thy heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put iniquity far from the tabernacles. Then thou shalt lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the pool. But receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his word in your heart. Then thou shalt lay up gold. You see, the level of his word you lay up in your heart determines the level of gold you lay up as dust. Lay up his words in your heart, then you will lay up gold as dust. Prosperity in the kingdom is on the wings of covenant details. Then John verse 2 says, I wish above all things thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. Now ask yourself, what is the prosperity of the soul? In other context, it means spiritual prosperity, your spiritual buoyancy. Now, in this sense, the soul is the mind, the emotion, and the will. And the mind is the dominant force in the soul. So the prosperity of your soul, meaning the quality of covenant information you have. Wish above all things that you may prosper and be health according to the quality of the covenant details you carry. Preaching information. So if nobody preach prosperity to you, the probability of you ending in poverty is very high. Because the covenant details that propels a man into kingdom wealth, you won't have it. And if you don't have it, you can't practice it. Information, the asset of covenant prosperity.